Hello everyone and welcome to Board Game Replay. We've got something a little different for you today. We're going to be checking out a project that's going to be coming out on Kickstarter in a couple of days here. This is called An Escape Room in a Box, the Werewolf Experiment, and this was sent to us a few days before the Kickstarter went live to check it out and get our impressions on it, so that's exactly what we're going to do here in just a minute. We know nothing about what's in this box. The instructions are very explicit. Actually, if we open the lid here, I'm not even going to do it, just in case. I'll show you a picture here, look. That is the warning you get when you open the box, and so that's as far as we've gotten. We want to make sure there's no spoilers ahead of time. We're not going to spoil anything for you as well, so don't worry about that. We have some instructions here that kind of explained a few things. It told us to have some water, hot water, ready to go, and some pencils, and pick a leader, which is going to be you. This is Kyle, by the way. Kyle's never been in our videos before.
Hi, Kyle.
Hi.
Also, Kyle's sitting on a stool, like a foot higher than.
Why is the tallest person also on the highest stool?
No, he's actually just 8 feet tall.
All right. So with that being said, I think we're going to start this, and we're just going to kind of montage over it. So again, there won't be any spoilers, but I'm going to hit start in 1 hour because that's what we've got to do. This we got 1 hour to complete
1 hour.
it, and let's go. Nice work, gentlemen.
Nice work.
No problem, as always.
Boy, yeah, I think beer's an
Cheers.
appropriate cool down here for that. That was pretty intense. We narrowly finished that one by just a couple of minutes, actually.
It was an hour of craziness.
Yeah,
Absolute craziness.
I think the first thing you wanted to say right out of the gate, we're going to keep this absolutely spoiler-free because it's very delicate to that, being that this isn't actually an escape room you travel to. Everything's contained in this box. The first thing you want to bring up is, why don't you start out? You had something that you were really hot to talk about.
Well, I want to talk about what this box does for the entertainment value. Normally, you have to go somewhere to get this escape room kind of context. You have to go to... When we were in Connecticut, we went to it looked like an old mill building, and it was a dentist's office.
Yes, totally.
You know, it looked clinical, but so they kind of played off that theme slightly, just a little bit. So you usually get a theme by walking into the place. I want to talk about how this creates theme and gives you that same feel.
Yeah, and I just know, I live in Brooklyn, New York. People pay a lot of money to go to escape the room. It's a big deal. And I think
New York too.
when we were in the moment playing this game, it didn't matter really where I was. It was really all about solving the puzzle as fast as you can. So if you want to recreate that feeling in your home, I think it works.
Yeah, well, let me jump in there for a sec. Like, along with this is just like some prototype stuff. So this might not be final components as I'm talking about this, but they mentioned when they send this here, they kind of give it like a party planner type thing. This is going to be like I said, a PDF that comes with the final game, and it's kind of ideas for like Jello shots to get into the theme and like things to make and decorations to put around your house that all fit this like werewolf theme. So like they give you a lot of things to kind of spruce it up and get the theme going, but without spoiling anything, I think like puzzle-wise, and like kind of the theme was definitely wrapped into there. Like that's all I'm going to say is that the theme was definitely in what we were doing. I felt that there was some definite theme. Yeah, it's not the same thing as going into like, for example, I did an escape room when I was at BGGCon in Texas, and it was very different from one in Connecticut where that was like a doctor's office that they put a bunch of locks on the walls. Like this one was like, we were like in a dude's house, and it felt like an apartment, and there was like a bookcase and like furniture and stuff that you had to go through, and so you're not going to get that. Like that's what you get by going and spending $30 a person at an escape room. Before we get too far into this, I want to mention how this all works, right? So this is... We've all done this now, so we can't ever do it again. Like, that's it. We're done. But they talk about replayability. The creators here kind of sent a letter along with it to explain a little bit of how it works. The MSRP for this is like $60 is what it's going to be out. The Kickstarter they're saying is around $45. Those prices aren't final. I'm just saying that's kind of what they sent to me here. And they're kind of using that to rationalize, like, an escape room's $30 a person. You can get... It's like basically invite 5 friends over or more, whatever, have a party, theme it around this type thing, and then like make a night of it. And I can definitely see that working. And as far as escape room puzzles go, I mean, I definitely felt challenged mentally as I have been physically at an escape room for sure. But again, we're all done with this. Like, we can't do this again. But they're talking about the game having replayability. It's the first thing that everybody asks. And technically, no, it does not. But they do have options. They're saying that they're going to, at least for the Kickstarter one, to start it off, they're going to give PDFs of how to reset the puzzle, recreate things that might have been destroyed or used up in the process. And then even maybe sometime they're talking about shipping things back. Like, so you can tell this is not a spoiler. There's 3 locks that come in this game. And basically, they said maybe they'll even introduce a business model where, like, you take the locks that are in here, send them back, and that gives you credits towards like another one if you're like done with this one, that sort of thing. So that's how the model works. That's sort of like that's the pitch, I guess. And I mean, I can definitely see that working. I mean, I could see us all kind of grouping up as a group of friends, being like, "Oh man, the latest box is out. Like, let's go throw in some cash and make Friday night out of this," you know. And if there was a reset thing, like keep it at your house and throw a couple of parties, like in the same style as like a murder mystery type thing where you make a night of it. This is totally that.
Yeah. I definitely liked how. Well, we'll say when I first heard about this, my expectations were low because I was expecting, you're trying to get this experience that we've been through and make it into, they fit it into that. It's extremely dense as far as information and puzzles go. So one person is not going to be able to do everything. You need to delegate, and there needs to be teams of people working on everything. And that's the thing is where during it, no one knew everything that was going on. We had to kind of like, hey, I think that's what I'm working on.
Where the hell did this come from? Like,
Let's go over that. How many people are expected to be involved in the game?
It says invite 1 to 5 friends over, so I'm assuming like you can play with up to 6 people, I guess. But I mean, you can play with as many people as you want.
I was just a matter of, from my experience,
how many
with
cooks
this,
in the kitchen, you know?
Exactly. With my experience with this, you could really, I mean, depending on the age, you could have a lot of little kids. Right?
Oh, no.
No, if you look at the psychology around team dynamics, 3 to 7 is the magic number, right? If you get more than 7 people, you get some anarchy on your hands. And I think even just between the 5 of us, we already saw that there were some times where things got a little frantic.
Yeah. Well, you were great, and then Kyle kind of played the his profession. He was the project manager of this operation.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your leader role?
Go ahead.
Sure. So it says when you read just the pre-instructions for the game that you're going to want to appoint a leader, and it gives you a little bit of coaching about how you want to set it up. And I think in terms of a leader's strategy, you want to make sure that your whole team's working at all times. And you want to make sure that the stuff you're working on is being done in a sequence where you can kind of bring the information back to kind of look at the overall picture. For anyone who's familiar with the overall Escape the Room, as you know, any given puzzle, the output of that puzzle is only as meaningful as getting you towards the final clue or the final answer to the entire thing. So as you get answers to the puzzles, this is one element I like about the game very much. You have to constantly manage whether or not that puzzle is something that you've exhausted and is done, or whether you still need information to kind of rework into the final answer.
I mean, that's why we have Chris around, right? I mean, quite frankly,
Chris will just start roaming at some point and then figure something else out. Yeah.
I mean, it's just the type of mind Chris has. Nothing on the table is done.
Yeah.
And that's it's something I learned. I always ask, and I don't know if you guys noticed throughout the game, I held something in my hand and I took it as it's a gospel piece of this game.
Yeah, to the point where I was like,
doesn't matter.
I know.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. I need to know if what I have fits into any part of the game.
Yeah, I think we had some different personalities come out as well, at least within the game. I will say, Brian over here, at one point, Brian, I think, played a lot of different roles. He helped solve a lot of puzzles. But at one point, Brian basically just took something on all by himself. No one else was looking at it, and he solved it completely by his own. And basically just brought back the finished answer.
Yeah, we all went to do something else. And then, he just goes, got it. And we're like, dude, nice.
Okay. Let me tell you what Kyle did, which is he's holding a pen right now. He is keeping everybody organized. Yeah. He can't do math, which is great because we have plenty of people around this table to do math. But he kept everything organized.
I love it. Oh man.
We need
Yeah. Well,
Jeremy. You're in Florida, man. What are you doing to us?
Yeah, we need
Well, let's talk about the presentation and the kind of cadence and rhythm of the game too. I mean, one thing I'll say,
so much more sophisticated than our normal stuff because Kyle's here.
I know it is.
I think the box itself, I think, is really well presented, and as you get into it, I think the game it's put together in a pretty scrappy way, and I think you have to be prepared to kind of cut to the bottom of the challenges you're given and really focus on getting the answer. And I will say, I think some of the language at times in the game is a little bit imprecise. And it wasn't really a problem for us, but you just have to realize there's a couple jokes in the language, a couple things that you do have to disregard as maybe being unimportant.
It can confuse you. And, you know, they make a point to say there are no red herrings in here. Like, that's what they say at the start. Like, everything, like, there's nothing that's going to lead you down the wrong path. Like, there's no red herrings for that. But, but as you said, like, there's some things that can confuse you, and you're like, is that a clue? You know, I guess maybe that's all by design. I don't know.
And to the credit of the creators of the game, it's clear that they played and replayed and tried to work the game out a little bit. And you'll see, we don't want to give anything away, but you'll see when you play it, there's a couple of alternatives and some kind of helper information that's provided in case you get really stuck. In our case, we pretty much beat the game in the normal path. We did a couple things to help ourselves out a little bit, but we certainly didn't go as far as we could to use all of the clues that were provided. Let me ask Brian here. I like to ask Brian, who's now my sage because he impressed me so much. But Brian, can you tell me, is this a game? Would you recommend this to someone, or would you send this to someone as a gift?
I would. I didn't have the opportunity to go to the escape room with these guys when I last did it. I will be going to one soon, but going into this knowing that it was supposed to be like an escape room with all the puzzles, I was looking forward to it. And then just after opening it up, looking at how much there was, how in depth everything got, it's awesome. And I would definitely, if I could do it again.
I know,
totally
right?
would.
That's the thing. It's like, oh, I want to do it again. Like,
this is something I'd love to like reset and bring to my family.
I like that that's possible too. I like that. I think that, again, I don't want to speak for them, but they did say that that's one thing. Since we know they want replayability, they said they'll be including a refill pack in the Kickstarter for it. So there will be a refill pack to reset it. Like if you're hosting a party, reset the thing, set it up for your next group, and I think it'd be kind of fun. I always wanted to see videos of us, like when we've done escape rooms. Like, wouldn't it be cool to see like what everybody was working on? Because generally, when you get done, like you're like, wait, what did you figure? Like clues, 9, 10, and 11. Like all of a sudden, like somebody just figures it out, and you've never seen like this part of it. So it's cool to do that.
You'd never be able to figure any of this stuff out on your own. Like if
by yourself,
if you love doing this and you're a genius at it, awesome. But there were things like I figured a few things out. I was like, oh, I feel proud of myself. And then the rest of them, like, I have no idea, but somebody else figured it out.
Yeah,
so
that's what's so good.
As a whole team, you can get through it, and that's really awesome. Especially when you solve the hard puzzles, you're like, oh, that was good.
Yeah,
it was real good.
Feel good about it. Right now, since Chris has changed his shirt, I guess we can keep going. Isaac, you had something to say?
Well, let me make my point a little bit more encompassing. There's roles for everybody to play.
Yep.
Obviously, Kyle had a little bit of the leader or the guide or the scribe role of keeping us all centered on the goal of answering the questions. Matt, I noticed that you have a sense of you get back to the game. Every turn, everything that we pick up again is always something new, and you want to tackle it as something new, not as something as a whole. You want to tackle it as something
like
new.
I want to when a bunch of things are when a bunch of new things, new information comes out. Like I immediately want to just cross reference it with everything. So I'll just take it and I'll just start yelling stuff out loud. And everyone just looks at me like, dude, shut up. I'm like, okay, sorry. I'll process this.
What do we think about the hour time limit?
I think back to what you said. I think it's been tested a lot to get to that.
I think so
hit
too.
That time. Like I think it was. They think the time it takes to play this is very much. It's been definitely tested by them, quite clearly.
I also like how they gave you the option within it to set your own difficulty. I guess.
Yeah.
Be the way to say it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think if you're a team of people who like word games and like solving word puzzles a lot. Or really any sort of pen and paper puzzles, I think this game would come very naturally to you. One of the interesting things here, and I'm a newcomer to board game replay, but it seems like this is not a typical game compared to what usually gets played here. And that was what was kind of fun and exciting. And I do think, if you're an expert just puzzler, you may be able to get through this under the hour time limit they give you. But I still think you're going to enjoy every minute of it. I think it'll be fun.
Agree. Yeah, even if you were to finish in like 45 minutes or something like that, you'd still enjoy it. I definitely agree with that, yeah.
The instructions tell you to not destroy any of the pieces or equipment that the game comes with, and I would recommend
hold to that.
Because anything that we attempted to tear apart or destroy really did not benefit us very much.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, yeah. And
just don't do it.
It almost harmed us to a certain extent. So, all right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us. I had a really good time, guys. I don't know about you.
Yeah,
great time.
That was a blast. I really enjoyed that. I would definitely be looking forward to doing one of those again. That was the Escape Room in a Box, the Werewolf Experiment. You can look for that on Kickstarter very soon, as of the release of this video. And I think that's going to do it for us, guys. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll catch you again soon.
Yeah.
Brian has...
Now his shirt's going to be missing for the rest of the show.
Wipe your eyes, too. You're laughing too hard.
He's just going to cut into Chris taking his shirt off.
He's fed too much beer to Chris, and it's all over from here.
All right, ready? All right, well, now that Chris has changed his shirt, I think we can keep going. You going to say something, Isaac?
Good.
I was just going to say, Brian and I have pretty much the same outlook on the games. We want to get down and dirty into each plus...
We're doing so good.